that thing that you're doing so that the next generation after you will not start from the bottom again, but continue from where you were able to help them get to. Having the same surname means having the same vision. A surname tells you where you come from, but vision determines where you are going. A surname connects people to history, but vision connects people to destiny. It's possible to share blood, but not share direction. It's possible to inherit a family name, but not inherit a family purpose. Without vision, a family becomes like passengers who enter the same vehicle, but everyone wants to go to different destinations. Zig Ziglar was one quoted to have said, "You don't build a business, you build people, and people build the business." So in other words, it's not just about having a family or having the same surname. It's all about building the family in such that you're all heading towards the right direction, and they having the family vision in their mind. What is the agenda of this family? What do we hope that this family will become? Or what do we hope that our generations yet unborn or this current generation will achieve? The same applies to families. You don't just build houses for your children, you build children who can build houses. You don't just leave wealth, you leave wisdom. A family vision is a clear picture of the future a family wants to build and the family values that will guide generations. A family vision answers these questions. Who are we? That's a very important question to ask. What do we represent? Very paramount. What must never disappear from our family? Very, very important. What must our children improve? What should remain 100 years from now? If you can answer this question, that would help you to have an understanding of family vision. A family vision changes, this is the family I'm from. Get that? It will change that mentality of, oh, I'm from this family, to, it will change it to, this is the mission I'm continuing. There are two different things. It's not just saying, I belong to this family. That is to have a sense of responsibility. This is the mission I'm continuing. There's an old saying, a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shades they know they shall never sit on. It's that thing that you're doing so that the next generation after you will not start from the bottom again, but continue from where you were able to help them get to. Family vision implies that the next generation must outperform the previous generation. A successful family vision means that the children should not restart the journey their parents already completed. It doesn't make any sense. A family vision is like a marathon race. You don't run the first lap and pass on the baton only for the next generation to say, no, we want to go and start from the first lap. No, they continue from the lap where you start, you pass the baton, and they move on. I hope that this analogy is helping. Every generation should transfer wisdom that you should transfer. Every generation should transfer knowledge. It should transfer character, opportunity, networks, and assets. Every generation should transfer this thing from one generation to another. It's not a crime to give your children what's called leverage. No. The goal should be that my sacrifice should become their starting point. That is a very valid way to reason. Many families run away but drop the battle. One generation builds, the next generation starts again. No, shouldn't be so. The question you should ask yourself is why? Because money was transferred, but mindset was not transferred. That's why a family will build all the wealth and the next generation will squander it. Isaac Newton was one quoted to have said, "If I have seen further, it is not by standing on the shoulders of giants." Family vision creates shoulders for the next generation to stand on. Your children should see further because you stood before them, and it will make a whole lot of difference. So the next thing is that I want us to have a conversation is that a family that survives versus a family that builds. These are two things. A family that survives thinks only about today. That's what it is. So and that kind of family will always ask this question: how do we pay bills? How do we enjoy now? How can I get? That's what they're thinking about. Everything is about the present. The danger is that grandparents will struggle, parents will struggle, children will struggle. It will be the same story. Different generations, because nothing was transferred except what? Memories. It's important that we are not a family that is survival minded. Think about this or check this out. A family that builds. Remember that we're talking about a family that survives, but it's a family that builds. A family that builds thinks generationally. The family that builds will ask this question: what foundation are we creating? What value must continue? What doors are we opening? What problems can we remove? They understand I'm not only somebody's child, I'm somebody's ancestor. Very profound. So I want to share a little bit about the Vanderbilt family wealth to us. The wealth without vision. In the 1980s, Cornelius Vanderbilt built one of America's greatest fortune through shipping and railroads. At his death in 1817, he was among the richest people in America. But within generations, much of the family fortune had reduced significantly. The lesson: money can be inherited, but discipline, unity, and vision must also be transferred. A family can receive possessions but lose direction. This guy we're talking about, if you talk about men that built America, Henry Ford will be mentioned, Cornelius Vanderbilt will be mentioned, John D. Rockefeller will be mentioned, J.P. Morgan will be mentioned. These are some of the few men. There's a documentary, it's called Men That Built America, and it was done by the History Channel. It's very profound. It will shape your mentality. How few individuals can change a generation and the mind of people and prepare the way for the next generation. But look at the sad example we're hearing about his next generation, Cornelius Vanderbilt, about the generations after him. You can change the narrative. You can do things differently. The next conversation I want us to have is migration without family vision. Migration is very powerful. Very, very powerful. I want to share this. Migration has changed millions of lives. But migration without a family vision can create success in one area and losses in another. Marcus Garvey was one quoted to have said, "A people without the knowledge of their past, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots." Think about it. Roots and branches are both important. Roots represents identity. Branches represent growth. A wise family protects both. Two of them. Do not just focus on one. You'll get both. The next thing I want us to have a conversation on is a family with vision understands that together is greater than alone. We live in a time and a world where people are more interested in "I'm alone." If you are listening to me today and you have not spoken to a member of your family for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you're not doing well. A family vision understands that 3 is stronger than 1. Bible talks about 2 being better than 1. Bible tells us about that 1 will chase 1,000, 2 will chase 10,000. So unity multiplies strength. So like I mentioned, I talked about the scriptures. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 9 says 2 is better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. I also mentioned Deuteronomy 32 verse 30. 1 shall chase 1,000, 2 shall chase 10,000. That is multiplication, not addition. Many long-lasting businesses survive because they understand we inherited something, we must improve something. We must pass something. In Japan, some family businesses have continued for hundreds of years. Businesses have vision statements, strategy meetings, succession plans, but many families operate without one. Benjamin Franklin was one quoted to say, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." A family future without a plan is future left to chance. So it's important that we ask ourselves all these questions. So what am I trying to say is that one person can make a difference. Just you alone in your family can turn things around for the next generation, for yourself, for your children. And the Bible tells us that through one man, sin came upon the earth. Through one man, righteousness, which is Jesus Christ, came upon the whole world. You alone can transform your children, your spouse, the next generation, and a community, and a country. The greatest inheritance you can leave is not only what you put in your children's hand, no, but what you put in their hearts and in their minds. A family without vision does not just produce descendants, it produces what? Generations. And it will impact wherever the community. People always know that you are there. As we bring this to a close, changing location should not mean losing identity, purpose, and continuity. So the next and the last thing is what? Unity creates generational power. One person can build success. A united family can build legacy.